Okay, so we're out for a ride. It's early evening again. It's about 7:55. Not 7:55, 5:55 on 16th of September, 2025. I had some stuff I had to do this morning, so I didn't get a morning ride. And I'm already 3 miles into this ride. Since I went north yesterday, I thought it would be fine to go south today. Again, I don't normally do it this late in the day, so I'm not entirely sure how busy the trail is going to be. I'm not entirely sure how what we're going to see. You know, if traffic's going to be bad, etc. Yeah. So I woke up again this morning really early, at like 3 o'clock, and then just kind of tossed and turned until my alarm went off at 5:30. I probably fell back asleep a couple times, small, light naps. But I know for a fact I was up from like 4:45 to 5:30, and then went to the gym. Got a mediocre workout in. I was just tired. I just did not feel like working out, but I went through the motions anyway. I didn't even do my like normal weights. I did like 10, 15 pounds less on most of my exercises because I just was not feeling it. So fast forward, then I came back, I made breakfast, and I had some appointments. Sorry, I was waving at the artist. I didn't know where he was, but he was sitting right behind his car, and I didn't see him until I passed. But yeah, I had some appointments to go look at some apartments today, and they started at 11 o'clock. That's why I didn't go for a bike ride. And then tomorrow I have an appointment at noon. It's a quick appointment, but then I just made another appointment earlier today for the same area. So, yeah. All right, let's see if we can pass without too much trouble. Excuse me. Hey, puppy, what's up? So, yeah. If I get out at all tomorrow, it'll be the same thing, later in the day like this. And but I'm hoping to. Next couple of days are actually supposed to be chilly, relatively. I mean, we're talking in the 60s, I think, on Thursday, and the low 70s tomorrow. Today was high 70s. So I actually wore jeans and boots today. Tomorrow definitely be jeans and probably shoes, maybe even flip-flops, because the second appointment I made was for a pedicure. Got to have pretty toes. Actually, this time of year, when I'm starting to wear shoes more and flip-flops less, I'm less concerned with the prettiness than I am with my toenails are just ridiculously long at the moment, and I either need to have them professionally cut, or I need to take a knife to them and get them taken care of because they're annoying me. Oh, excuse me. So, yeah, other than that, nothing really super exciting happened. I mean, the first apartment I went and looked at today wasn't terrible. It was a 2-bedroom. It was a 4-plex. It wasn't an 8-plex. 4 on top, 4 on the bottom. But it would have been on the top, and it would have been on the corner. So the only neighbor I would have had was one side and below. Hey, puppy. But I didn't want to do that. I mean, I might consider it. The price was very, reasonable. It wasn't great, but it was literally half a block away from a supermarket, so I wouldn't have had to drive to the supermarket all the time. And there were some bars and restaurants within a mile or so for, walking and stuff, because that's one of my big things that I would like is walkability. Second place I went and looked at was a little bit more removed, but still within a mile or two from like main downtown area, not Denver, but one of the towns around Denver. And sorry, that girl back there, not the one in the blue pants, but the one that we passed before her, looks so much like an ex-girlfriend. I had to stop and think that maybe she was a sister or a close-looking cousin of said ex-girlfriend. But yeah, and that's an ex-girlfriend that I haven't seen in 20 years. But I wish I had, because I think about her every day, but that's my problem. Yeah, she broke up with me. I didn't break up with her. And she broke up with me because I would not convert to her religion, and she could not be with somebody who did not share her religion. Because as she put it, it was a dead bunny. As she put it, she didn't want to be in heaven without her husband. And since I was not her religion, I was going to be burning in hell, and she didn't like that. So, yeah. No matter how much I talked to her about tolerance and acceptance and, you know, there being plenty of interfaith couples out there and blah, 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 she would not budge. But it was me versus her family versus her friends versus her church, and I was bound to lose. But yeah, still, you know, they talk about the one that got away. I don't know if she's the one that got away, because I probably would have been miserable being with her, but I still think about her all the time. Anywho, but yeah, I can't remember what I was saying. I know I was talking about the apartments that I looked at, but I can't remember what I was saying about them. Oh, the second one was in an area that she lived in when I met her. So you know, there's that on my mind too. Like everywhere I looked, I was going to be seeing her. But it was a very nice, very brand new building. Had all the amenities. Nice clubhouse. A really good workout room. I mean, it had all the equipment, everything you could need. A lot of places will take a closet, throw a cable machine in there, and call it a day. This place had everything. They even had a pool that was open 24/7. Apparently, the pool was heated, so that was one of their talking points. They had a hot tub that was open 24/7. And they had surprisingly, their gym was not open 24/7, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., which was weird. Because what about people that, you know, need to work out in the morning before they go to work? But, you know, I mean, I can understand, like, say 5 or 4 to 10, but 6 to 10, really? All right, whatever. But one of the things that I thought was cool with this place was they had what they called a guest suite. So apparently if you have people visiting and you don't want them to stay with you for whatever reason, you know, maybe they're loud, maybe they have kids, maybe they just, you know, you just don't want them in your house. You can rent the guest suite for a night or 2 nights or 3 nights or however long it's available, and have your friends or family stay there. Which I was like, that's amazing. I've never heard of that in an apartment complex before. I mean, that was almost a selling point for me, because I hate it when people come over and think they're going to spend the night. But that's me. So I don't plan on coming back through town like I normally do. I do plan on going down to my turnaround point. But I don't know how bad traffic is. Again, it's just after 6 o'clock. So, you know, there's probably still people leaving work, leaving bars after work, leaving restaurants after work, etc. So, and I was really close to not recording at all today, because I had the last couple hours, I had my phone plugged into my computer trying to get video off, And my computer was trying to tell me that out of 2 terabytes of hard drive space, that I was down to like my last 100 gigs, and it would not copy over the 65 gigs worth of videos that I had. Now, the ones that I've already uploaded, that's fine. I can just get rid of them, and that's what I kind of did, is I kind of just went through a bunch of them and see if they were still relevant, because I take videos of a lot of stuff. Like apparently, and I knew I did this, but I have a lot of videos of me troubleshooting my truck, because it is a nearly 30-year-old truck. So there's a lot of videos of me like, let's see if we can recreate this sound. Let's do this, let's do that. And then some videos of just random stuff that doesn't mean anything. I deleted some of those. And a few more I will upload. I went ahead and renamed them so I could keep track of them. Just goofy stuff from like 2 years ago, when for some reason I wasn't uploading. But like walking my brother's dog through the woods in Florida, that kind of thing. So anything of import, I kept. Well, and I didn't even get through them all. There's a bunch I did delete just on principle. Stuff like, being at a restaurant where they have, the little self-service kiosks where you order your own food and stuff, but, those things glitching out, that I had every intention of uploading to, either a review or to YouTube or something, but never did. So I deleted some of those just because they were a year or two old and they were no longer relevant to me. So what's going to happen is I am coming down this way. I'm just going to turn around and come right back on this trail. But when I get up there to Meow Wolf, I will cross the river and go up on the other side at least. But yeah, so I was trying to do some house cleaning. I got a lot of photos I need to delete, like just bad photos that I copied to my computer anyway, and I'm like, out of focus or blurry or whatever. Where I'm just like, I should probably delete those, and I just don't. So I probably should do that one of these days when I'm just watching TV. Is just sit there and kind of go through everything. Use that as my my little self-needed project. Because I'm not good at that. I'm not good at house cleaning. He says, knowing full well that he cleans his kitchen and he mops the floor all the time. But yeah. Oof. The cool part is doing all this bike riding and stuff. Every time I drive up and down the interstate now, which is about 100 yards to my east, and we are facing south right now. Every time I see that, every time I drive by now, I'm like, oh, I know exactly where I'm at compared to the trail system. But yeah, I have probably go look at some more apartments. Maybe I'll stop and look at one or two tomorrow if I have time. The problem with my appointment being so far south is at noon, and then I have the appointment at 1. When I get out of that appointment at 2, by the time I get back up this way, it's going to be rush hour, and I'm going to be stuck, rushing. Stuck in stop and go traffic, which I don't like to do. So, but yeah. So I just like to ride on the dirt if I can, or the gravel here. So yeah, I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna come straight back or if I'm gonna just hang out on the south end of town and kind of wait for the traffic to die down. But it doesn't die down until about this time, and even now you can't see it, but I can. overpass right there is stop and go. Southbound traffic's moving pretty smoothly, but that northbound stuff is stop and go. So, yeah. Still coughing a little bit, still a little bit of a stuffy nose, but like I said yesterday, getting a little better every day, which is good, but I don't like it. I remember the days when I'd have a 2-day cold or a 3-day cold and then it would go away. Now it's kind of like they like to linger, and I don't like it. So but yeah, I'm doing these afternoon rides because I still want to get the riding in. I want to get as much in as I can before it gets cold and I have to decide if it's worth going for a ride. Oh man. I think I will. I don't think there's anybody behind me. There's a little side trail over here I'm going to take. Right here. Just to go up. I think I've come down this before. But yeah. Whew. I don't know if my legs are getting stronger. Because again, it's an 80-pound bike. Oh, this is all I had. Kind of wasn't worth turning around. But yeah, there's been a few times now where we'll do this though. Where I'm pedaling and I'm moving at a pretty brisk pace like this, but I don't have pedal assist on. And then when I do kick it on, I don't feel it kick in. So first couple of times I was wondering if I had made a mistake. Or if the motor was stopped, wasn't working in the lower gears anymore. But like right now I'm in 3, or no, I'm in 2. I can feel it. But earlier I couldn't feel it, so hopefully nobody's coming. It's a blind curve. Oh, good, nobody was coming. So yeah, see, if he had been coming around the corner 20 seconds earlier, we might have smacked each other. But yeah, so I don't know if my legs are getting stronger or what, but I'm going further and further without the pedal assist, which is nice. But yeah, I can't go as fast, but I'm going further. But yeah, then we went to a third apartment and a fourth apartment, and we had scheduled showings. I say we, but I had scheduled showings. And at neither one of those locations did the shower show up. So we went to one. I had a friend with me who's not going to be moving in with me, but somebody who was with me. That's where the we comes from. Hey, puppy. But yeah, we had the confirmation email that the meeting was set. The showtime was set, blah, 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 and nobody showed. We waited like 15 minutes. Luckily, the last one, letting that pass. Luckily, the last apartment, because we had scheduled 4 over like a 2-hour period. Luckily, it was within walking distance of the second one, or the third one, sorry. So we just walked over there. Again, nobody was there. Nobody ever showed. And that one was surprisingly the worst. The last one. Didn't even get to see the inside of the apartment, but the apartment building was it was like probably a 4-plex or an 8-plex or something. 8-plex. No, 4-plex. It had a shared washer and dryer in the hallway, like a little closet off the hallway for the washer and dryer. And it wasn't even complimentary, it was pay. And then, there's somebody behind me, but he's on a slower bike. Vroom, vroom. And then, but the hallway stank so bad. Like, I was literally wondering if somebody was dead in one of the other units. That's how bad it stank. And I was like, I'm willing to still see it. Yep, you too. Oh, apparently he was not on a slower bike than me. Or maybe he's in higher pedal assist mode. That was a Hemway bike. I've seen ads for those a gazillion times. It's very similar to this one. I thought it when I looked over my shoulder and saw him, I thought it was a lower one with smaller tires. But no. Again, you know, I'm pedaling. I'm in pedal assist 2, and I'm doing about 14 miles per hour. Hopping between 13.8 and 14.8. Like right now I'm at, you know, because I'm going uphill, I'm at 13. And I want to check this out. My friend, well, not my friend, but one of the ladies that lives in my building, the building that I'm in right now, Denver Animal Shelter, okay. She was trying to tell me that they renamed the Denver Animal Shelter to Denver Animal Protective Services or something like that. And I was like, no, I think it's still Denver Animal Shelter. And she goes, no, they renamed it. And I was like, I don't think they did. And she goes, no, they did. I promise you, they did. I was just there. And I was like, yeah, but I ride my bike past there, and it's still Denver Animal Shelter. So if they did rebrand it, they didn't change the name. But yeah, it was kind of a, you know, like I've said before, she's a little slow. You know, just a, you know, still functional, but a little slower on or a little lower on the IQ scale. And then, you know, I think she's one of those people gets high all the time and not always on THC, if you know what I mean. Because she was outside. There's a guy in the building that she hangs out with a lot. I don't know if they're having sex, but I do know that she stays in his room now and again. And he's an alcoholic. He flat out admitted to me he's an alcoholic. So I think they party together. But I was talking to him yesterday about, you know, how she's doing with the dog and stuff. And he's like, oh, yeah, she's over here waiting for her friend to show up. And I was like, oh, so she's hanging out outside waiting for her friend to show up? Is she going anywhere? He goes, no, I think she's waiting for her friend to come deliver some pharmaceuticals, if you know what I mean. And I was like, oh, okay. So, but yeah, when I actually was coming on this ride, she popped out. Or she was actually out walking her dog, which I was like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, she had that certainty that people who don't know what they're talking about, but they want to convince you they know what they're talking about. She had that kind of certainty about the Denver Animal Shelter. You know, but teach your own. See, now I'm doing 16. I'm still in pedal assist 2, but I'm doing 16.5. But this is a little downhill. Little slight decline. Or negative incline, if you will. So yeah. Oops. I'll go. Guy pulled out, and he was behind me, so I can at least move over here where he's not going to be. So I don't have to worry about him hitting me. Dark Horse Genetics Retail Dispensary. Okay. Oh, you know what? Let's take this try. I don't think I've ever done this before. Let's do this. Or maybe I have, but only from the other direction. So yeah, I looked at a few apartments today. I got a few more on my list that I want to go consider. Sorry, that homeless woman actually didn't look bad. She looked like pretty. Dirty, but pretty. So you don't see, well, I'm sure people who work with homeless people see it more than I do. But you don't typically see a lot of homeless women unless they have severe issues, because people are more inclined to open a door for a woman than they are for a man. They're more likely to give you their couch or spare bedroom or something. Your parents are more likely to take you in if you're a single woman or whatever. They don't want you living on the street. Oops. I'm gonna squeeze past you real quick. Hey, puppies. Hi. How's it going? And trail closed. We will see about that. So yeah, when you see, I didn't start recording until I was 3 miles into the ride, but at about the 1 mile mark, I ran across some homeless people that sometimes are in this particular spot, sometimes they're not. And today there were probably 12 of them all hanging out in this one spot. And then about 20 or 30 yards away was a woman sitting under a bridge just like this. But she was just laying there. She looked either dead or so strung out that she was just unaware that she was alive. So, felt really bad for her. But she needs help, and she needs to want help. You can't force people to accept help. And unfortunately, addiction is a thing, and it's a pain in the butt. I personally don't have any addictions, unless you count like Reese's peanut butter cups or mayonnaise. But I understand that a lot of people do have addictions, even slight things like alcohol or cigarettes, which I've never been addicted to. I actually drove past this earlier. So I remember driving past this tower thing here and going, oh, I know exactly where that's at. That's Santa Fe or Highway 85 to the right of me, or to the west of me, while I-25's to my east or left. So, but we're almost at the turnaround point. But yeah, I felt really bad for this woman. But I feel really bad for anybody who's addicted to anything, because I'm not against people participating in whatever recreational fun they want to have. As long as, again, it's not an addiction. You want to, and it's the difference between wanting to have a good time or needing it to get through the day. Like I used to own a house down in southeast Denver. And there, I would walk my dog on the outskirts of the community on a regular basis, multiple times a day. And I would always find those little shooters of alcohol or half pints type things. You know what I mean? I would always find those everywhere. And I was, I never understood why people would throw their stuff out. And then I was talking to a neighbor once, and he goes, yeah. He goes, a lot of people will pull up over here on their lunch breaks. They'll drink their liquid lunch, and then they'll turn around and, throw the bottle out and go back to work. And I'm like, really? People do that? And he's like, yeah. And it was an eye-opener for me, because, it shouldn't have been. I grew up around heavy drinkers. My dad, was an alcoholic. Probably did other things. I can't tell you for certain, but rumor has it he probably, he was in his 30s to 40s in the 80s. So he probably partook in, nose candy in Florida, no less. So now we're going into the wind, so this will be windy. I apologize for the noise. I just waved at that woman because I think she might be homeless. I like to acknowledge them, let them know that they are in fact seen, that they are still human beings, and that people do notice them, kind of give them that humanity back if they don't think they have it. It's just, little thing. kind of like kids. I wave at kids. Sometimes parents give me dirty looks, and I'm like, look, as I explained to a friend of mine once, it's the parents' job to teach the kids to be wary of strangers. You know, it's the stranger's job to teach the kids that not all strangers are bad people. They're just people you don't know. So, yeah, I just wave at them, say hi, compliment their shirt or their boots or their dress or whatever. Just let them know that they are seen. Because a lot of times people don't even acknowledge kids. Pardon me. Or they only acknowledge them when they're being loud or just, you know, not destructive, but what's the word I'm looking for? Interruptive, I guess. There's another word I was looking for, but that one fits. So yeah. Same thing with dogs. So you always hear me say goodbye, say hi to dogs. Because dogs love to be recognized. They love meeting new people. And I'm like, yeah, let's do this. You know, I don't always stop and pet the dogs. Especially when I'm on feed, I do. I don't even ask the people. I just ask the dog, do you say hi? Do you say hi? Do you want to say hi? And sometimes the people yank their dogs away, and I'm like, your dog wants to be sociable. You know? Yeah, I hate it when people do that. It's like you are destroying the innate nature of your pet, or your companion, or your partner, or however you want to look at dogs. I hate the word ownership or master. I hate that, because in my opinion, we are not masters over dogs. We partner with dogs. It is a symbiotic relationship. You know, they provide us with stuff, we provide them with stuff. It's mutually beneficial. Whew. Yeah, it is a little breezier going north than it was going south. I could have taken that little side trail there, at least as far as that tree. I may end up bumping it up to pedal assist 3 just because I am facing so much wind. Let's go this way again, just because. Whew. But yeah, I also say hi to most people too, just because I like, especially if they're even pretending to acknowledge me, I'll say hi or whatever, just to be nice. Because people, like, often, it doesn't get talked about a lot, but there is something called a male loneliness epidemic. Now, some people don't believe it's real. A lot of people do. A lot of psychologists and psychiatrists and sociologists understand it, as well as a lot of men. Like, our friendships are by and large, you know, superficial. When you try to get a little deeper into conversations, that's usually when you scare people off. Now, I say that, but there are people you can have deep conversations with. But, you know, if your friend is one of those people that just wants to watch sports all the time, or never talks about anything but work, chances are they're incapable of having those deeper conversations. But yeah. So I try to say hi to people, especially if they're by themselves. Let them know, again, that they're seen, that, you know, they're acknowledged, that, you know, they're not alone, not forgotten, etc. So, whew, or did this wind just kick up? So I'm looking at the trees and stuff, and I don't remember it being that windy on the way down. I say on the way down, but down south. So that's interesting. But there's some apartments right over here. You can't see them, but I can. They're directly east of here. I could look at those, but again, I'm not entirely sure I want to live downtown anymore. Like I said, 20 years ago, I would have been all about it. Getting out, doing things, walking everywhere, you know, having that local watering hole, etc. But now I'm kind of like, yeah, I just want to be left alone, and, you know, I want quiet, peacefulness. That's one of the things I kept looking for at these apartments. Standing there, trying to get a feel for how quiet it was. You know, the ambient noise, traffic, people from other units, or people from people who, or kids or whatever. Like the fourth place I went and looked at, they had, there was a school or something nearby. All you could hear were kids playing, squealing and running around and having a good time, which is fine. I don't have a problem with kids playing. I have a problem when, you know, it's like 9 o'clock at night and they're not quiet. Or, you know, Saturday afternoon and I just want to lay there and do nothing and I hear kids all the time. But that happens so rarely. I actually don't like to sit around and do nothing. But, yeah, because that first place I went and looked at, there were a lot of kids' toys out in the common areas. A lot of bicycles and playthings and balls and, you know, nets and little, you know, those plastic baseball bats and things like that. And I was like, again, I don't have a problem with the kids. I don't have a problem with them playing. I'm just curious, like, how noisy it's going to be. Like, can I shut the door and it'll be fine? Do I have to shut the windows, but I like fresh air? I'd rather have the windows open than the AC on, type of thing. And that's a true statement. I'd rather have the windows open than the AC on. Except in, like, humid places. Because you run the AC as kind of a de facto dehumidifier. And that's always nice. Because I don't like to be hot and sweaty when I'm just sitting there, you know, watching TV or having dinner or, you know, whatever. So, but that fourth apartment, it was so surreal. Like, we're standing there, we're waiting for the shower to show up, who never did, remember. And somebody comes walking out from behind the building. And he was a well-dressed dude, like, all things considered. I mean, he was dressed, like, casual, but still not sweatpants and a t-shirt. So I asked him, I said, do you live around here, or are you the guy that's showing us? And he goes, no, I live in this building, the next one over. So I started asking him, what's the neighborhood like? He goes, it's actually really quiet, very peaceful. And I'm like, really? I hear kids over here. And he goes, yeah, there's a school or something over there. And the kids, and there's a park across the street here, and it's got a playground. The kids will play on the playground and stuff. But all in all, it's actually a really nice neighborhood. And I was like, okay, that's good to know. And he goes, I said, anything I should know about the neighborhood? He goes, well, if you get on the sex offender registry website, you'll see that there are a number of sex offenders that live in the area. And I'm like, really? And he goes, yeah. He goes, they tend to keep to themselves, but it's weird knowing that exists, or that they're here. And I was like, okay. I mean, I get it, but you could probably get on any neighborhood on the sex offendery website for the neighborhood and find more people than you ever would have expected. So, see that traffic going north? See how slow it's still going? And it's 6:30, so yeah. But I asked him, I said, so there's really that many sex offenders around here, even though it sounds like there's a school within a couple of blocks of this place? He goes, yeah. And then he just kind of shrugged, like nobody enforces it. And I'm like, okay. But you got to keep in mind, people end up on the sex offendery registry for a lot of reasons. It's not always sexual offense. There have been people that have been put on it because they got drunk and peed outside. But because they peed outside and got caught, they're on the sex offendery registry. You know, or I heard a case one time years ago, like 10, 15 years ago, about a guy who he liked to walk around his house naked. But he also did it with the windows open. So even though he was naked in his own home, they still, neighbors called the police. The police came and arrested him for indecent exposure, even though he was naked in his own home. And that's just like, the small stuff, the accidental stuff. That's not even like the ex-girlfriend that makes a false claim, or ex-boyfriend that makes a wild accusation that can't be proven one way or the other, so they just default to putting you on the list. So, and then there's the people that need to be on the list. The actual sexual assaulters. The people who have no remorse, who, that is their goal, is to go out and take advantage of as many people as they can, regardless of whether they know them or not. You know what I mean? I'm trying to say it nicely. So yeah. And then sorry, I wanted to get through that before I kept on talking, just in case I had to hit the brakes or something real quick. But then there was I passed a house. It was a tiny house. I think the guy said, guy called me back. It was 800 square feet. No garage. No shade trees, no nothing. I was like, oh, well, this might be within my price range just because of how inconvenient it is. So I called the guy. I was like, yeah, I saw this, jotted down the number. I just wanted to see what the status was, ask some questions. I didn't walk around and look at it, but I wanted to see, how many bedrooms does it have? Does it have a garage? I noticed the tree stump. It looks like a shade tree was probably cut recently. Blah, blah, blah. And he went through it, and then he's like, well, why don't I just send you the Zillow listing? I was like, yeah, you can do that. He goes, but I'm asking $2,200 a month for it. And, I'm willing to work with that a little bit. I've already lowered the price once from $2,400 to $2,200. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't tell him this, but I'm like, yeah, I don't think you're going to lower it to where I can afford it, which is below $2,200, below $2,000 for that matter. And then there's the extra added, you're going to have to take care of the lawn and all that other fun stuff, which if the price were right, I'd take on that responsibility, but it sounds like he wants to make too much money on it. But he was telling me on the phone, he goes, if you decide you want to go for it, he goes, we'll just do a basic background check, employment history, income history, blah, 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 shish, boom, bah. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going through all that for that tiny ass place. I mean, I've seen 800 square foot apartments that are $1,000 less than what you're asking for. And there's no, what do you call it? No yard work involved. Or any, and I don't have anything against yard work, but I don't want to maintain somebody else's yard for them. Not for that price anyway. For that price, you better have a monthly service come by and mow and edge and everything. But it was a 2-bedroom, and he did say the interior had been remodeled recently, which I don't know because I didn't see the interior. I didn't even go look it up on Zillow because he gave me the link. He sent me the link. But it looked okay. I mean, from the outside, like I said, it was small. It was just a square building with a roof. 2-bedroom. That's all he said. 2 bedrooms, a big room, and a kitchen. And that was it. I'm like, okay. I'm assuming the quote-unquote big room is the living room / dining room type situation. Oops. But I don't think it's going to work out for me. But I would love to find a single family home or a duplex or something where I don't have to worry about neighbors all around me or apartment noises, because even where I'm staying now is the first time I've lived in anywhere with neighbors with walls that touch, or with shared walls, I should say, in years. So just even hearing my neighbors moving around, hearing the upstairs guy walking around, hearing, dogs barking next door, which, again, I don't have a problem with dogs. I have a problem with people who don't take care of their dogs. But yeah, all that's already starting to get to me, because I need my peace and quiet. Woo! This building over here to my left, which is west. I think it's a fairly new building. It's probably not even fully occupied. Do you want to be on top? Like, that's a long way to get groceries and furniture or anything else in and out of. Oh, I patted my pocket to see if my phone was still there. Oops. I had a moment where I'm like, oh crap, where's my phone? But it's attached to the bike, and I'm recording with it. So yeah, hoping to get a good night's sleep tonight. Because last night up until 3 o'clock or so, I actually slept pretty well. And I went to bed at somewhere like 10. So it wasn't, or 9:30 or 10. So it wasn't terribly late, but it wasn't terribly early either. I was told by a doctor a few years ago that maybe I should just stay up later. I'm like, I don't have anything to do at night that's later. Oh wow, a bunch of bicycles over there. I wonder if it's one of those biking tours or something. Hey puppy, what's up? Sorry. That was a chow dog. Chow chow. And it had a vest on. But it was purple, it wasn't red. It didn't say like service dog or anything like that. It said best friend, which was awesome. But I'm sitting over here like, I don't need a vest to tell me who my friends are. But yeah. Alright, so we should be coming up here shortly to where I need to cross, or not need to, but will cross. So I think it's right past this overpass. But like right here, this building to my left. Again, brand new building. It may even have a unit or two that I could afford. Ugh. Yeah, so there's Meow Wolf off to my east. So the next crossing should bring us to the parking lot there, and then I'll go up the east side of the river just for something different. Oh, there's a lot of fancy buses at the football stadium. I wonder if there's a football game this week. So I would have said hi to that woman, but she was making it very clear that she did not want anybody talking to her. Body language is a thing. Actually, I read somewhere recently, and I've heard this before, but I couldn't remember the stat. But I read something recently that said like 90% of communication is done non-verbally between humans, which I knew like more than half of our communication was done non-verbally, but I didn't realize it was 90%. And again, I don't know if that stat is actually accurate, but that's one of the problems that I had during COVID with all the Zoom stuff, and even to this day where people are like, let's Zoom, or let's do this, let's do that. And I'm like, especially for business stuff, like there's a lot of communication that goes on that is nonverbal. Like, if you know how to read body posture, if you know how to read facial expressions, I mean, yeah, maybe facial expressions on a Zoom call or a Google Meet or whatever, Teams. But a lot of people turn off their cameras anyway. I do. I don't like my face on camera. But that's why I don't point the camera at me. But yeah, there's a lot of communication, especially when you're talking about sales or mergers or, you know, interdepartmental cooperation. There's a lot of stuff, like, because there's what people say, and then there's what people express otherwise. I know we're conditioned, especially in the United States, to go off what people say, not how they say it or what they say. Because you see it all the time in courts. You know, where somebody says, you know, somebody's in court because they screamed at their ex, you know, I'll kill you if you ever come near me again. And then suddenly that ex ends up dead. And they're like, well, you threatened him. Well, yeah, but it was just an excited utterance about leave me alone. Like, we've all said something like that. You know, maybe not I'll kill you, but maybe, you know, if you ever come near me again, I'll sick my boyfriend, my brother, my sister, whatever on you. Yeah, I'm gonna try and do this. Excuse me. That dude needed a hamburger. Holy crap. It's embarrassing. And we're gonna go up and around. Oh, a little puppy on the back. Guy had like not a Shih Tzu, but one of those little dogs like that on the back of his bike. Little white puffy thing. Not a poodle, but like a Bichon Frise type thing. You know what I mean? Oh. Oh, there's a tent set up in these trees over there. Probably hiding from the rangers, so they don't get told to take it down. But once the leaves fall off all these trees, it's going to be harder to hide. And two, this is a river. If it rains a lot, or if there's a snowfall and then warms up again and it melts and comes through, all that's to the left of me is flood mitigation. That's the problem I have with some of these homeless people hanging out by the river, especially if they're sleeping there, is you know, you just don't know if you know, a freak storm or a storm 50 miles away is dropping enough water to make it a problem for people here, because this is downriver. So I'm looking at the Elitz Gardens here, and I was listening to a thing on YouTube the other day. It was Disney park workers. What is the weirdest or grossest thing you ever saw? And there were a bunch of stories. Like, a lot of people are like, yeah, I would never do this at Disney because I know what happens there. Sometimes it was benign. It was like, oh yeah, there was a couple getting freaky on one of the rides. Okay, cool. And sometimes it was like, yeah, for some reason when parents are at Disney, they don't want to take their kids to the bathroom, so the kids just end up pooping wherever they're at. And you know, we've literally had to come up as a line of employees, of cast members, and hold hand to hand just to make sure that nobody walked into the poop on the floor, because apparently if we don't do that, people will walk into the poop on the floor, which was just shocking to me. I did, like 20 years ago, I was at Disney World with an ex-girlfriend, same one that lived south of here that I think about all the time. But we were there, and oops, I'm going to pass you on the left here real quick. Oops. And then I'm going to go across this bridge real quick. But, it was Disney. It was, I can't remember what time of year it was. But it was warm enough that they had some fountains going. And one of the fountains that they had going, one of the cast members came over and like told us, so like, yeah, you might not want to get in that water. And we're like, why? It's a fountain. And they're like, you would be surprised at how many people how many kids throw up in here, how many people, pee or poop, especially kids, pee or poop in here, etc. And it's like, really? And they're like, yeah. It's like, oh, dang. So, I'm going to go, apparently, around. Oh, nope, all these are stairs. I was kind of hoping at least one of these was a ramp. I'm going to get off and walk it because while this bike does have some shocks and stuff, it's not exactly an off-road monster. Oops. Oh, there's some drummers and dancers across the river there. That's cool. I'm still wearing my sunglasses, so I'm not, just to keep the bugs out of my eyes. But I've only felt bugs once or twice on this ride, and they weren't even that thick. So I'm not entirely sure how dark it actually is, but it's darker for me. Oops. On your left a little bit. Excuse me. But yeah, so pro tip, if you're ever at Disney and they have like the fountains that shoot water from the ground and stuff, and you think it'd be fun to go cool off, don't. Oops. Hey puppy, what's up? Oop. Excuse me. Hi puppy. So yeah, that is it. I'm trying to think of anything else. I mean, I almost went off on a tangent earlier, but I was trying not to. Can't remember what I was talking about. It was before I started talking about body language, but it was when I was talking about something else, and I was like, ooh, that'd actually be a good stepping off point for this other conversation, but I can't remember what it was. But it's something that I do think about when, I'm not focused on anything else. Excuse me. Which is a lot of things. My mind's always working. Like always working. Like, you read an article that says a new study came out saying XYZ PDQ, and it's like, yeah, like I already knew that. Like, this is common. This is something I've already thought about. Now, did I have the PhD research data to back it up? No, but I had anecdotal evidence, logic, and deductive reasoning to come to that conclusion like years ago. Matter of fact, if you would have told me the opposite was true, that would have shocked me, not confirming what I already suspected. So, oof. Oh, the tent over there. Excuse me. Hey, puppy. That was actually that guy at that last apartment that was lived in the building across the way, or the building next door. They are doing a photo shoot. But yeah, that was the other thing he said, that you have to, in the area. He's like, yeah, he goes, yeah, there's some sex offenders in the area, if you check that kind of thing. And I'm like, okay, but again, anywhere you check, you're going to run across that, anywhere. Go ahead and look in your neighborhood. Unless you live out in the country, like where your closest neighbor is a mile away, you're going to run across somebody. But that's the other thing he said. He said, yeah, but, it's also, there's homeless people come through here once in a while, and, you just got to be aware of that. And I'm like, yeah, again, homeless people don't bother me. Most of them are absolutely benign. They're just looking for either somewhere warm, or they're looking for, or somewhere out of the weather, or they're looking for some kind of food or something. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. They're 9 times out of 10, they're not looking to start problems. Which is why they don't bother me. Oh, yeah, see, there's some bugs. Not nearly as bad as yesterday. There's a couple more. Still not as bad as yesterday. This is where I started recording, up at the top of this bridge. Oh, more bugs. Wow, okay, so apparently they're real bad right through here. Oh, pardon me. So, but I'm 15 miles into the ride. I don't think I'm 5 miles away. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't think I'm 5 miles away from where I typically turn the camera off. I might only be 2 miles from there at this point because, you know, as the trail goes. I wonder what my light looks like. Yeah, it's not terribly bright. Light's on. I turned the headlight on. It's not terribly bright. Let's see what it does under here. Not a whole lot. So I think for the light to work or to be effective, I'm going to either have to tilt it down if I can, because it does, like, it's shining the bridge up above me there. Either tilt it down or it's got to be darker. Let's see here, it's a little dark too. Yeah, see, I can see it reflecting on the underside of the bridge more than I can see it reflecting on the sidewalk. So I'll have to look into that before it gets, well, hello puppy, what's up? Have to look into that before it starts getting darker earlier. Because I don't mind riding in the dark, you know. And if it was a light just for safety purposes, you know, just to light it up so cars can see you, that's one thing. But if you expect me to be able to look at you know, what's in front of me, then I'm gonna have to adjust it, either figure out how to tilt it down, or let's see, yeah, see, way up high, or I don't think there's any way to flip it and mount it upside down just the way that it's mounted. I don't think there's a way to do that, because I'm like, you know, well, maybe it can't, because the light came. Oh no, I had to fix the light on there. But there's only one way it mounts on. But it is a little piece of metal I might be able to tilt down. So, it's all good. We adjust. We overcome and adjust. Or, let me rephrase that. We adjust and overcome. But the ironic part is, that woman that got the dog that I said, you know, she doesn't seem like she has the highest IQ in the world. Either that or she's just constantly high and just comes off as that kind of spacey, I don't know what's going on. Oh, lots of bugs right through here. Sorry. Lots. Oh my God, they're still hitting me. But I actually saw her when I started this ride. She was, if I'm still recording when I get to that point, which, if you've watched the videos from like a week or two ago, you've seen the, jump right through between you guys. Excuse me, thank you. You saw where like the dead chickens were. She was there with her dog, which was, you know, not a terribly long walk, but a decent one, especially for her. She's not used to walking that far on a regular basis. But I was like, oh, and she was just standing there, like in this dirt field, and I was like, what's going on? Well, you know, first I was like, hi, how's it going? You know, oh, you out walking the puppy, great, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, are you coming or going or something? And she's like, oh, I'm just waiting for a friend. And I'm like, oh, like your friend's gonna meet you here in a dirt field? And she's like, yeah. So I'm just waiting for my friend. I'm like, and your friend's gonna meet you here, not like at the apartment complex, not at, oh my God, the bugs are so thick right now. Not gonna meet you at your house. They're not gonna meet you even at the street corner. They're gonna meet you here in an empty, in a empty area. She's like, yeah. So I'm just waiting for my friends to come. I'm like, okay. I'm going to take that as a you're not looking for company at the moment. Because yesterday when I got back from a ride, she accused me of passing her without saying hi. So I saw her and I made it a point of stopping to say hi. So she didn't think I was ignoring her or whatever. But she, I think she might have been waiting for her friend to bring her, like, the heavier drugs. Like the not THC drugs, you know what I mean? As long as the dog's not getting into it and she still takes care of the dog, I don't care what she does because she's an adult. But, yeah, and I told her friend yesterday, I was like, I just think she got a dog that's way too active for her lifestyle. She needed something that could handle a couple of short walks a day, not a husky that needs, 10, 15 miles of running a day. So, but that's my opinion. And what do I know? I only had dogs for 20 years. At least I'm not getting hit by bugs right now, so that's good. Oh. I just looked, I tucked my head down and looked over the rim of my sunglasses. It's actually brighter than it appears to me. So that's cool. Whew. Plus, yeah, I feel better when I ride. I feel better when I get this like long form exercise. Now, am I pushing it really hard? No. I can't do my, let me see if I can do it. I have a Garmin watch, and I don't use all the features, but I use this one. It says I currently have a heart rate of 106 beats per second. So, not a lot. Not 120, not 130, not 150, but 106. Which, maintaining that for 15, 20 miles is not terrible. Oh, sorry, my butt's hurting. Have to keep adjusting. And turn the light on. See how the light's just pointing up? That's the problem I have. Or that's the problem I noticed, I should say. A guy with a big cart full of stuff. The kind of guy that goes around to dumpsters and the sides of buildings and collects scraps. Apparently scrap meddling right now is a huge thing. I even have a friend that said she might get into it because she already dumpster dives. 45 years old and she dumpster dives. But good for her. It gives her something to do, and anything that she finds that can be resold, she tries to resell it, whether online or on like Facebook Marketplace or something. And she does. She sells stuff. She makes a couple $100s a week doing it, which great for her. I'm not complaining one bit. But then she said she wanted to get into scrap meddling. I'm going to turn the light on. Again, it's showing everything above. See that? It's not on the ground down below. It's, I don't know if you saw that lady laying on the ground in the dark there. That's the same one that I passed earlier that was laying there like she was strung out or something. Couldn't decide if she was alive or not. I know I said it was maybe a mile away from where I was living, but maybe, let's see, maybe 2.5. Whew. Yeah, it's dark under here with sunglasses on. But yeah, I'm not afraid of the dark. So I have no problem riding at night. The problem I have is, in another month or so, it might be like really chilly, like more than sweats and a jacket or something can handle. And then I don't have any riding gloves, so I'd have to look into that too, especially something that keeps my hands warm. Because once you get moving, your metabolism kicks in, your blood starts flowing, and it's really good for keeping your body warm, especially in the wintertime, which is why a long time ago, before I got a little older and it became more painful, I used to go running in the winter times. For two reasons. One, I was putting on weight. Now, I wasn't as heavy as I am now, but I was putting on weight and I didn't like that. So I started running. And two, my dog was getting fat, and I just think it's embarrassing when somebody's dog is fat. Like, your dog does not want to be fat. Your dog wants to run, it wants to play, it wants to go for walks and hikes and stuff. I have friends and their dog literally looks like a whiskey barrel with legs. And they have him on a constant diet because they're like, you're too big, you're too big, you're too big. And I'm like, that's fine and dandy, to have him on a diet or restrict his eating, but walk him. They're like, we do. And I'm like, no, you take him to the end of the street and back. You take him less than half a mile once a day, twice a day. This dog wants to move. Like, if you start taking him for longer walks, 2 or 3 miles a day, it's going to take him a little bit to get used to it, because he's not used to going for long walks. Because I've even taken him for walks, and I'm like, come on, let's go this way. And he just stops. He's like, we never go past this point. And I'm like, well, today you are. And he just stops because he's like, no, this is where we go. We don't go any further than this. And I'm like, dude, you're a dog. You should be excited to go anywhere. Check stuff out, sniff new things, explore. That's what dogs like to do. But it is what it is. All right, let's see. Oh, that car did not have lights on. I think some homeless people are breaking into this building here. Because if you look at this fence when we pass it, I was actually rode through here one day when somebody was busting down the fence posts, or the fence here. So I think they broke in. At the very least, I think they might be camping in the yard there. And then when I rode through here earlier, I really wish I was recording, but there's no point in recording this because it's the same thing every day, except for today. Right here, this building off to the right-hand side, there was a boxer running around on the roof just looking over the edge at, people going by, or me anyway. And I'm like, seriously, it makes me wonder if somebody lives in there or something. Sorry, I'm coughing up bugs. Because, the dog was just, standing up, just patrolling the roof and looking down at us lesser people. And I almost stopped to take a picture, but I was like, nah, I just, I didn't know. It rained earlier. I kind of sprinkled. Hey, buddy. It kind of sprinkled a little bit earlier, but in other parts of the area, it actually rained pretty hard. And as you can see, it's a little gray up ahead, and I wasn't sure if more rain was coming through, so I was like, I need to get this ride done quick, so I don't get stuck out here doing, in the middle of nowhere. Or I don't want to get stuck out anywhere in any kind of rain or weather that comes through. Because again, it's supposed to be a few degrees cooler tomorrow, and then like almost 15 degrees cooler than today on Thursday. And I got stuff to do both days. I don't get to sit at home and do nothing all day. I usually have stuff going on. But But I'm probably going to show you where I ran across this woman where she was waiting for her friend. And then I'm going to turn the camera off because I'm actually trying really hard to think about things to talk about right now. Oh, more bugs. I'm not going through bugs right now. I'm coughing up bugs that I swallowed earlier. Whew. Safe to cross. Safe to cross. So yeah, she was right in this area. This little open nothingness right here. Doesn't belong to anybody. I mean, it might belong to the railroad. It might belong to the city of Denver, but she was just hanging out right here. And I was like, you have a friend that's going to meet you here. She goes, yeah. And I was like, not on the corner over there. Not closer to where we live. Not at the 7-Eleven down the road there that we pass. Not at the park that we just rode through. But here. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. That's why I think it was something less than kosher. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. There's no reason to record this last bit because I have nothing to record. Thanks for coming along the ride with me. Hopefully you guys didn't get bored. And we will talk again later, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Bye.